welcome back to Smashing Hits Podcast. This is our episode for, it's our recap episode for Double Agents, episode
14.
Thank you. Way to jump on in. Well, I'm going to introduce Jake first. Jake's here.
How's everybody doing tonight? Huh?
Pretty good. I'm here. Did you ask me that? Because I think last time you said I don't ever ask you guys that.
Well, let me ask you directly, Zach.
Thank you for introducing me.
How you doing tonight?
You know, what'd you call us before we started recording? Did you say smot wedges? What'd you say?
Smot wagons.
Smot wagons, which I don't think is a term.
Yeah, it could be, but we actually have a special guest tonight who's not even going to be on the pod. Can you believe that?
I can. She doesn't have a microphone or headphones, and she's not caught up on the show.
How you doing tonight? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
She gave a thumbs up.
Yeah, she gave a thumbs up.
Let's just not introduce Hannah. Let's just skip it. You introduced someone that's not on the podcast yet.
Yeah.
Hannah's here, though.
Oh, man. Where are your Averitt brothers, huh? Oh, God. Somebody's going to get us for bullying.
Yeah. We actually recorded 2 times. I recorded 2 times. You guys each recorded.
It's called twice.
It's the same. I mean, the way I said it is not wrong in any sense. I mean,
You know he got it wrong, Han, is because he's such a smart wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I recorded twice. Are you good? And then you guys each recorded 1 time. And
Once.
You know what? Hey, but seriously though, I think that should be a thing. Couples night. A little play
it's
on
just
that.
it's double the work for me.
Well, this is why.
And also, I do all the post production too.
This is why I need to just come over one day and learn the ins and outs, so that I can lighten your load. You and I have went through enough leadership classes together and read enough leadership books to know what it means to lighten someone's load.
Yeah, but does that do any of those classes and books that you've done talk about how to do production on a podcast?
That's where Zach comes in.
Yeah,
I can do it.
Yeah, but I currently do all of it. So like, it's it is double the, not even just double the post production work. I had to do double duty hosting.
Well, hey, so here's the deal: is we're gonna set a date. You and I are gonna have a little date, Zach, where I come over.
Okay.
We can cook dinner if you want to.
That's fine.
We can even kick Hannah out and send her over here with. Her name's Emily, by the way. And
no one can see her. This is audio.
But the thing
only.
is we can kick her out and we can eat all the peanut butter in the world while they're gone.
Not in my house.
Because
it's fine.
They're both allergic to nuts. Oh, God, nuts.
You're fine.
They're both allergic to nuts. And
What are the odds?
What are the odds? Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll make a bunch of peanut butter desserts, even go get some Reese's Puffs, and then we can sit down and Easter's coming up, too. We can get those Reese's peanut butter Easter eggs.
So actually, I was going to say
You
like
did
2
that
nights
last
ago,
night.
that's what I did.
No, that was last night.
Was it last night?
Yeah, I went.
It was last
I took
night.
a shower and I was washing my hair, and you just came in the bathroom and you were like, "I bought Reese's eggs. Leave me
I
alone."
didn't say it like that for sure, because it's not Reese's
it's
feces.
Reese's.
Yeah.
You said Reese's feces.
Exactly. Because that's how you pronounce it.
It's Reese's feces.
No, it's not.
Reese's or Reese's? Hold on, what?
Wrong.
No!
It's because they're allergic to it. They don't get a say in it because
Yeah,
they're
it's 'cause
allergic
you're
to it. They
allergic
can't
to
have it.
That's why you can't say
Ask
it,
her
right?
about Reese's Pieces.
You are yelling. It's clipping
Is
so
it
loud.
Reese's Pieces or Reese's Pieces? Reese's Pieces. Okay, well, she's at least halfway on that.
Okay, so anyway, I did do that the other night, but
So a date's coming with me and Zach. That's what's happening.
Okay, well, what happened was the Challenge All-Stars trailer dropped, and Hannah could only record one day, and then you couldn't record until the next day.
Actually, that's not true. I could have easily done the same night that Jake did, but you wanted to do it that night.
Jake
and I
recorded
said,
with me in the afternoon. You were working.
Yeah, but I could have done it that night.
Okay, so it wasn't the same. He couldn't do that night.
I
That's what I'm
couldn't do that
saying.
night.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's what. So that okay.
Because I told you, I was like, I can do whenever.
I'm glad we're going over this because you couldn't because you were at work. Which
She
is
don't
why
even
we
read
did
your
this to begin
text
with.
anymore, Zach. We
Appa-
talked about
apparently
this.
not. So anyway, Hannah could record at one time, even though in her mind she's omnipresent. And then Jake could record at another time, but they did not overlap at any point. And so we were like, hey, let's do this because we need to get it out. But what if we did one on Patreon? And we're like, well, what if we did the only thing on Patreon? And we just kind of discussed it for a while and finally came up with Hannah and I will record, and that'll go up on the main feed. And then Jake and I will record, and then that'll go up on our Patreon, but it'll be free. There's no paywall behind it.
You're welcome.
Well, we had already discussed that in the text messages, too. And
yeah, but you even when you and I recorded, you're like, I'm not really sure if it's going to be paywalled or not. And I said, it's not. It's going to be free.
Yeah, okay.
And you said, okay, well, I guess it's going to be free.
Again, I was trying not to reveal.
Give me credit
Well,
when I do things.
Yeah, sure. Great. I wasn't doing a peek behind the curtain there, but anyway, we did that. And so those are both up right now. Very differing takes on it. Hannah knew less of the older people, but even there's some that Jake and I honestly are not familiar with, and we started watching way before Hannah. And so it's interesting to kind of do those back to back. But again, patreon.com/MashingHeads podcast has both versions if you're a patron, and the one with Hannah is ad free, but the one with Jake is up there, and it's not even on a paywall. So even if you are not a current patron, you can go on there and listen to it.
Well, I'm going to tell you how much of a supporter I am of the show. Is that I actually, before you and I recorded, Zach, went back and listened to the first 10 minutes of the Pod with Hand and the last 10 minutes.
Okay,
but nothing in the middle.
Well, because I just, listen, I'm a busy guy, but I at least listened to 20 out of the 55 minutes, right?
Yeah, they both went longer than I expected.
I guarantee you, Han ain't pulled up 1 second of mine in your pod. And she definitely still hasn't listened to the Cam interview.
Not a chance.
So
apparently she didn't even read the text messages about the Patreon podcast.
So what I want to say is, like, I was very happy with the product, right? We've never done an episode without me in it, and I thought Couples Night was a hit. Well done, you guys.
Again in the future.
Well
at some
done.
Point.
That's a Patreon pod waiting to happen.
Yeah, but I don't want to say all right, Couples Night. Let us give you advice, because I don't want to do that at all.
I do.
No.
Me and Han will do it.
Jake does.
Jake and I are supposed to do the dating podcast.
Yeah, because his has gone so well up until recently.
When I learn the ins and outs of the production side of this, Han, you and I are going to start doing dating advice pod.
Hey,
we've been talking about it for a year.
Listen. If you guys, again, Patreon exclusive stuff, like that's fine with me. I have no problem with it. But speaking of that, patreon.com/MashingHeads podcast, which apparently I had to update some things on Patreon because they've added some like legal things you had to do. But they've started offering some different reward stuff that Patreon integrates, and I put a poll up, and a lot of our patrons have already voted on it. But yeah, we're going to start doing a few more rewards and things on there that I didn't know Patreon offered until actually this afternoon, if I'm being totally honest. So we're going to be doing that. So check that out. Again, it does directly support the show. If you're hearing ads, they honestly don't do very much for us. But again, we do offer them ad free. I mean, if I'm being honest.
Well, but we appreciate the ads.
Yeah, again,
it makes us feel more official.
Except for the one person that got a Scientology ad one time, and
we do not endorse.
Yeah, we were like, hey,
Scientology.
We had to go to the head of the network on that and be like, can you figure this out, because we don't want this to happen again. So again, we do appreciate it. So check that out, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. And again, even if you are not a patron, you can listen to the podcast Jake and I did talking about the challenge Double Agents, which we will be doing recap podcasts on, even though it's going to overlap with. Did I say Double Agents? I meant All-Stars, but Double Agents and All-Stars are going to overlap for about 2 or 3 weeks, it seems.
So I'm anticipating you mixing those up a lot.
It may happen. I mean, but I'm excited about Double Agents. It is. Yeah, I'm excited. I am excited about that season still, but I'm excited about All-Stars.
All-Stars is going to be fun.
Yeah. So again, check that out. There's about 2 hours worth of content.
Our patrons called me out on our pod.
Yeah.
Where I didn't even realize I said it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I guess I said
I did.
I guess I said I don't think there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, at the top of the podcast, we were talking, and I was like, "What do you think?" And you're like, "Yeah, there's not a lot to be excited about." And I just was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna need to talk about it for about 45 minutes."
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to watch it. I was more so talking about the recognizability of the cast. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, as we got into it, I kind of got what you meant. But
yes,
like,
I did not mean I ain't watching this. That's not what I meant.
Yeah, or that you're not excited for.
No, I'm ready to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Oh, okay. I hope so.
Yeah.
Because we all are going to.
You can't just not watch it and then come to the recaps.
I have ideas about that we can talk about off mic. No one needs to hear about.
Okay.
it.
About not watching the episodes and then talking about them?
No, about that season in particular.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about them later. It seems like it's getting a lot of attention. Again, like it was over like 1 million views in like 21 hours, and like it seems like a lot of people are excited about it. I think this format, like we said on the other things, it can bring in a lot of people that would not do a normal season. There's already been rumblings of people like Landon and Evelyn and people like that who would be interested in a season like this, shorter production, bigger money, that type of thing. So we're excited about that.
The only people I've seen that seem to have outright turned it down were Rachel and Veronica.
And I wonder if that was a timing thing or if it was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Rachel seems pretty far removed. Veronica was on, what was it, Dirty 30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, check those out. Main feed. If you're listening to this, you probably already heard the one with Hannah. But if you haven't gone yet, go to our Patreon and check out the one with Jake and I. Again,
For free?
There's no ads, no paywall. Just go and check it out. And if you see stuff you like, we have a whole backlog of content stuff exclusive to Patreon, so you can get on there. And speaking of, Jake and I actually did a quick shout out on the Patreon exclusive pod. But Jake, do you want to go ahead and? We always try to give our patrons shout-outs whenever they come along for the ride.
Hey, Dena. How you doing tonight?
And one more. It was Scott, but he actually. So Scott's been around. Again, we don't. Some people do that. They'll stay for a few months and they'll go away and they'll come back. That type of thing. I get it. I understand.
Glad to win you back over.
Well, hey.
What now? I thought you said something about a window back over.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what that means.
Well, hey.
Glad to.
Scott.
Yeah.
How you doing tonight?
There you go. I'm pretty sure Scott probably got one of those the first time around, but we always try to make sure we go above and beyond.
Well, whether you're joining the family for the first time or you're rejoining back up, we're going to celebrate just as hard. Am I right?
Just as hard. Just as hard.
Just as mightily.
Just as hard.
Yes.
So, do you guys have anything else you want to hit before we jump into tonight?
I want to hit this episode.
God.
Okay. So, episode 14, Double Agents. Coming off of Nany's win, like we talked about last week, Nany's elimination record is not very good. She was at the point of tears from winning, which I get because, she typically goes home by now.
And I think, Zach, you and I talked about it. Sometimes
personally? Like privately or on mic?
No, I think like when we were watching it downstairs, when she started crying, I said, I get why she's crying. Like, sometimes you might think it's a little like over dramatic, but it had been so long since she won, or she hasn't won a single elimination, has she?
That was it. That was her first single elimination win.
Yeah, her first that wasn't a team elimination.
And she's been doing this show for so long, like, to just finally break through that. I mean, all the effort and all the hard work that she's put in, I totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with the way that she acted, because, again, it was like she's been in this weird like state where she goes home all the time before the final. She never wins eliminations. I mean, typically if you do end up going against Nany, unless she's partnered with someone who's pretty strong, like you're gonna win. And so again, good for her. I think she got a pretty, I don't know if it was unanimous, but she got a at least from one or two of us, like she smashed heads last week. I don't remember who said what, but I'm not going to go back and check that. You can go.
She wasn't mine.
Check the
Gabby
notes.
was mine.
Who went home? Anyway, this episode again kind of kicks off with them in the house celebrating, and then we get the first note I had was Fessy walks into where Anissa's kind of like decompressing and changing, I guess, and he's just like, "Love you," and she says, "Okay."
Yeah. What I didn't make a note on that, but what I did make a note on was Nany, she stole Fessy from Anissa, and she's talking about how, she's so glad to have him as a partner.
Well, that lasted about 6 hours.
She said he's great physically and awesome politically.
Yeah.
Which, no, not really.
I think he's burned, like we talked about, like he burned a lot of bridges early on.
He burned almost all of his bridges.
Yeah, other than the Big Brother alliance, but...
Well, I guess the point I want to make is his big brother brethren or sisterin, right?
Sure.
Casey. I hammer down on her all the time for being incredibly boring.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel the same about Fessy. I think he's incredibly boring. I think he's really good. Same about Casey, right? Really good. Really good at the game. Incredibly boring.
That's not a new thought. Like, a lot of people have that opinion on him.
Yeah.
I've seen that on Twitter a few times.
Yeah.
Maybe that was part of Nani's deal. Maybe she's just incredibly bored with him because she's coming from probably the most entertaining guy in the house in Kyle to, Snorefest Fessy.
And, I mean, as much as you can hate Josh, which we love to dig at Josh, I mean, he's not boring. I mean... He gives you things.
Josh is not boring.
He gives you things to talk about. Which, speaking of someone who's not boring and gives you things to talk about, shout out to Polly. He's been training with the U.S. bobsled team officially.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, good for him.
He was learning how to do it, and I commented on it. I was like, I hope you keep an egg in your suit as a good luck charm. Which I don't know if he's going to get that reference, but it's from Cool Runnings.
Well, he posted a picture on his Instagram in like his get up, his gear or whatever, and I'm pretty sure he had it. He was turned around, backside facing the camera, just flexing his glutes. Did you see that picture?
I didn't see that one. I
don't follow him, so I've not seen any.
I saw the video.
I definitely follow him.
Of course, I saw the video where he was like learning how to like push and then jump into the sled.
Yeah, well, look it up later. Go look at his butt.
Okay. All right, I will.
That's a butthole I'd lick. $1 million.
Oh yeah, again we've already.
Well, I didn't know if you were going to add in the $1 million.
$1 million.
Just in general. That's just on his list of things to do.
Because you kiss his butt so much already.
Hey, ask your friends. Anybody listen? Ask your friends if they would lick buttholes for $1 million. If they wouldn't, there's
just
something
as a career.
severely wrong.
Again, this hypothetical is non-sexual. It is non...
Yeah, no. There's no...
there's no morals involved. There's no sexual...
And this is a recurring question. This is
Jake
like, what,
every
3-4
single
weeks
week.
in a row?
I guess I bring it up every single week because I'm so blown away at the amount of people that for $1 million would not lick a butthole.
Listen, me and you have talked about this. There's a threshold where it's like once you get to a certain money, and I don't think we've quite nailed it down, it's just like... Yeah, like it doesn't even matter at this point who it is.
Yeah,
like there's like so on How I Met Your Mother they used to have a chart that was like girls how hot they are determines how crazy like how much crazy you can put up with, and it's the same type of chart. It's like
the hotter they are, the crazier they are.
Well,
right?
Not even that, but it's just like the hotter they are, the more crazy you're willing to put up with. And so this would be the same type of thing. The more money, the more disgusting you're... Sure, whatever.
The more buttholes you'll lick.
Yeah, so anyway...
Kyle.
Yeah, okay. Well done, guys.
Hey,
yeah.
I did it. Okay. I thought it was really funny that Kyle came to Anissa in... I guess it was Anissa's room because he thought that she needed to know... He talked so much crap about her to everybody in the house. And she's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, no, you need to know. I talked so much crap about you to everybody here. And then it was just really funny. And then she said in a confessional that she upgraded partners in the funny department.
Well, yeah. I mean, going from Fessy to Kyle is night and day as far as just personality-wise. I didn't realize until this episode that Darrell and Amber B were the only original partners left.
I didn't either.
I just haven't thought about it, if I'm being totally honest.
She weirds me out, man.
Okay.
I'm just going to be real with you. She weirds me out.
She's a Tennessee girl.
She's from Knoxville.
Man. Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Oh, we love Chattanooga.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
But you're weirded out by her.
Yeah, there's something... You ever,
It's the big brother. I'm telling you, it's the big brotherness.
It is shocking how little personality these big brother people have. With her, it's a very like there's a try hard kind of aspect to her personality. She tries to get like salty in her confessionals, or tries to be witty, or talk smack or crack a joke. And you can tell she's trying really hard to make sure it lands or gets over, and it just doesn't. There's something off about it. I'm not a fan of it. And she's very monotone too. Like there's no high or low anywhere. It's very right here the whole time.
I will say, like most of the Big Brother people, Polly and Josh excluded, are not the most entertaining as far as just like pure watchability. They may be great competitors, but
I'm gonna tell you something. I miss Josh.
From a TV,
I do too.
From a TV standpoint, yeah.
He provided us with something to watch.
And I mean, now that Devin's gone too, so I mean that's
it's even harder.
That's a lot from there. But Corey goes to Darrell and Leroy early on while they're working out, and
he interrupts their conversation,
like you just did. Great segue. And she winked at me, by the way, so don't get upset about that. And we get him asking if he can be the house vote. And they're like, man, it is way too early for that. Like, we haven't even done the daily yet. We don't even know who's in power. Like, we can't be making promises like that.
I'm not surprised to hear him ask, though. He's the only guy in the house that hasn't had a chance at elimination. So, I mean, like, why is it so shocking for him to come up and be like, hey, can I be the house vote?
It's not shocking.
No,
it's
but they just kind of responded to him like, I don't know. We'll have to think about it.
I don't blame. Like, there's no reason for them to make promises when you don't know who's in power, who's up for elimination. Because you saw Leroy had to turn on Darrell.
Yeah.
Based on what was going on.
And, I mean, Leroy was a little put off by his conversation with Darrell, too. He said after talking with Corey, he's like, I don't want anybody to talk to me.
Leroy don't care about nobody this season.
No,
that's how he
really
should play.
doesn't.
That's how he should.
That's how he probably should have been playing more like this the last several seasons.
So yeah, that happens. And then Corey tells Anissa basically the same thing, except that he also wants to go against Kyle, which is now Anissa's partner. And
Anissa tells Kyle about it.
Yeah, Anissa immediately just tells Kyle, like, hey, this is what he wants. And Kyle just says he's going to hurt him. Even if he wins, he's going to hurt him. And
it's weird hearing Kyle talk trash. Just like being serious too, right? It's weird.
Yeah.
But like also like, like I feel like he's not small. Like I feel like he could maybe do some damage. Yeah.
He's a military man.
No, I'm just saying purely off his personality. It's weird to hear him try to be serious, and
it rubs me the wrong way when he like tries to be serious trash talking. But if he's like joking, like self-degrading or making fun of somebody else trash talk, that's more. It just sounds better.
Yeah. Again, like Kyle, his personality, the best that like he gives us is his confessionals and him just being funny in the moment. Like that's why you like him. You're like, oh, I love Kyle. I love when he gets into it with like that's not what you're again with Paulie and Kyle. The thing that we all got sick of was them just fighting all the time because it got so boring and like old. Like we get it. You both liked Cara at one point. Like move on. Kyle just needs to be best friends and then make fun of everybody. And him and Devin need a podcast. We've already talked about that.
Uh-huh.
They have an Instagram page together.
Do they?
Yeah. It's called Dev and Kyle.
Oh, I think I did see that now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, before we get into the daily, we're going to take a quick break. All right, we're back, and this daily they get into one of the least creative names we've definitely had for this season. The daily is just called Mission Undercover.
Not even a good name for the actual challenge that they're doing.
Yeah,
it should have been like Mission Underwater or something.
They really, what's it called?
Screwed the pooch.
No, what is it? It's blanked it in.
Phoned it in.
Phoned it in. That's it. They really phoned it in on these on the names of these dailies.
It's like first pass, like no punch ups, no rewrites. There's like, what is this called? Okay, great, we're going. Mm-hmm. And it's like they didn't even get like people that are like good at writing, it's just like, oh, hey, you're the one who set this one up. What would you call it? And they're like, I don't know. I'm an engineer. And like, who cares? You're naming the things today. And it's like, come on, like, put some more effort into it. Like, they, like Jake said, they blanked it in. So basically, it's Mission Undercover. I saw a lot of people on Twitter freaking out, saying like, "Oh, this is for sure one that I could never do." And I was like, "This isn't that bad. Like, I could do this all day long." And I
could have done this.
I don't know if it's like because I grew up.
Oh God,
like,
I don't know, Han.
I don't know if you could have done this.
No, you don't have to actually swim. You just pull yourself on the rope.
Yeah, but
you know what, Han? You got to dive down.
You got to dive down first. You got to dive down about 6 feet or so.
I don't know, Han.
I could do it because they had the.
You don't even go in the deep end at my parents' pool.
Yes, I do. When you're not there.
You don't go underwater in the deep end.
Hold on a second. Why do you do it when he's not there?
Because she's a liar.
I do it when he's not there because I don't want him watching me and making fun of me.
What do you do in the deep end?
Yeah.
I try to see if I can drown.
Well, hold on. What?
Yeah, that's her whole pool experience.
His mom does not like it either.
All right, Zach, tie up a rope in the backyard.
She does not like me being over there alone.
Let's see if she can dive 6 feet down.
She can't. I can tell you. Like that's the hardest part is the diving down because you saw a couple of them like they just freak out and they're not even down to where it is and their breathing thing messed up. But like I grew up like when we would go on vacation, I would always like snorkel everywhere and I would like dive under to get like dig around in the sand and all that. One time in Aruba, I found a Hot Wheels car like way out in the sand in the water, and another time I found a rosary. Like again, that's another time I picked up.
Did you pray to God for that?
No, but another time I digged under and I thought I found this big shell and I grabbed it and I was like, "Oh, awesome!" And then it snapped at me and it was this huge crab, and that scared me a lot. But again, this wasn't a big deal to me. I was like, I could have done this all day long.
I think I could have done it because you get an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
And all you have to do like is just get to the rope and pull yourself.
Yeah, like I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I could do all these dailies or whatever. Like, but this one to me, like it was pretty.
I don't have a phobia of water. I'm not afraid of it.
Especially like this. Like this isn't like the depths of the ocean. Like you're like in a trench of apparently the clearest water in the world.
It's super clear, which helps a lot. I think if it were super murky, it could freak you out because if you can't see what's in the water, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
But this was really clear water, and I think that helps.
The main thing is you can't surface for air at all. Like if either of you come up, you're disqualified. There's like little buoys that mark your entrance and exit point, and then Leroy and Casey get to make the order because they were the last power team. Not the power team. That's a whole different thing.
Team.
Jake, do you remember the power team?
You said it right, Leroy and Casey.
No.
Power partners.
No. Do you remember the power team from the 90s? That was like a Christian bodybuilder thing that they would like break ice and like lift logs and stuff.
Yeah.
You talked about them the other week because they would like rip phone books or something.
And it's like, yeah, we did it for God. And I'm like, great.
So
that's a wild little deal
so
right there.
Yeah.
You think they got T-shirts out there?
Oh, 100%. I mean, maybe not still in production, but as far as
you might
find
one like
so it's still sort of relevant. Weirdly enough, the TV show Workaholics had an episode about that, and that was like 5 years ago.
Oh.
But again, it was very. I didn't understand it as a kid. I was like, okay, cool. They were wearing like really like spaghetti string like tank tops. Yeah. And then there's really, really buff dudes. It was real strange.
Yeah.
Didn't really get it.
Okay, well, Leroy and Casey are the power partners from last week.
Yeah, they're not the power team. I don't think they could do that. And so they made the order. They put
Kyle and Anissa.
Kyle and Anissa first, yeah. For some reason, I made no notes about Kyle and Anissa because they did fine.
Well, they put Kyle and Anissa, and right before that, Kyle had just said in a confessional, or maybe it was to Anissa, that Corey's like one of his only friends in the house.
You mean Leroy?
Leroy's one of his only friends in the house.
Yeah, he did say that, but also Kyle is also like Kyle doesn't know what's what. Like he talked about CT is his friend, and then sometimes they're not. Like, I don't know.
I honestly think CT is his only real friend in the house.
Kyle lies to every single person that he's not aligned with, and so.
But I think CT's got to be the only person he's legitimately aligned with, though.
I don't even.
Because I think there's the Big Brother crew that's helping each other out, and then Leroy and Cam's alliance are intertwined in the Big Brother crew, so they're all helping each other, and that leaves the outliers of like Cory and CT and Kyle. I almost said Darrell, but Darrell's partnered with Amber.
Yeah, so I think like on a personal level, like CT and Kyle get along, but at the same time, like CT would flip on Kyle any day of the week. Like, who cares at this point? So Leroy and Casey put them first. Aneesa and Kyle do great. Like, they get done. And so you see them going. And they're like, oh, okay, people should be fine. They should knock this out. Cory and...
has water trauma.
Yeah, Cory and Big T are next. And obviously we know Big T's a swimmer. We found that out in the other thing. And so I think I looked at Hannah and I was like, I don't remember if Cory's a good swimmer or not. And immediately he disqualifies. Like, probably before I could even get done saying it.
And he talked about how, like, when he was a kid, one of his friends purposefully tried to drown him. And so he has, like, water trauma. And it's really hard for him to be in bodies of water, so...
Well, I don't know if it's as much the swimming, it's the going under the water, right? Because we've seen him plenty of time in pools and swimming, right? It's the going under that trips him out.
Yeah, and so again, he didn't even like make it 3 feet, and he came back up, and he was like, I'm done. And so that happens. Then Darrell and Amber B go. Amber B disqualifies, and I was like, okay,
pretty quickly.
I was like, is this just going to be the thing now? Like Kyle and Aneesa are the only ones that are going to get it done. And then Fessy and Nany go, and they're like, oh, we're Florida people, great. And then she says Fessy kicks her in the face. I didn't see it on the replay. Like he definitely kicked at her. Like, maybe he hit her in like her stomach or something, but... She
said that he kicked her in the face with his push-off, and it completely disoriented her to where she couldn't see where she was going. And that was why when she still dove into the water, she was swimming in the wrong direction.
That's the Sweet Chin music right there.
He's a big Shawn Michaels fan.
Shout out to the Heartbreak Kid.
That's not Shawn. Is it?
Well, yeah, that's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. I thought when you said Heartbreak Kid, I was thinking Bret Hart.
Well, whenever Fessy actually dove down there and started getting to the rings, and he realized he didn't see Nany anywhere near him, he looks back and she's kind of underwater, but she's starting to float back up. And Zach said what he did was really smart. He swam back to her and tried to like grab her arm or her leg and pull her back down to the rope, because if she breaks the surface, they're disqualified. But if he can pull her back down, they're fine. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't do it because she was, again, she's super disoriented and she.
I mean, okay, like let's be clear about. Do you really think like halfway down the line, like she's still so like if that's the case, then she has a concussion.
She might think of how big Fessy is.
I get it.
He could have kicked really hard.
I get it, and if that's the case, she should be with a medic.
Yeah, but concussions aren't based on size of said individual.
Yeah. And so, like, if she's still that disoriented, I think, like, he did kick at her, and then she just got flustered, and then just couldn't make it down. And so it's like, oh, I got kicked in the face. Like, I can't make it.
I don't
know. Thanks. I thought you were about to say something.
No, I just heard Han go, I don't know. It was
so CT and Cam go. I thought they would finish because, again, like, they're pretty much a powerhouse at this point.
Cam tried to hide from CT that she's got a fear of drowning.
Yeah, again,
she didn't want him to know about it.
Because she's like, screw that, I'm going to win no matter what. I mean, they didn't win, but
they did get frustrated with each other during that puzzle.
Yeah, they did, but at the same time, I kind of feel like that was a little overblown for production's sake, because then you can be like, hey, CT, do you miss Big T? And
no, I mean, I was just referring to them actually arguing over how to actually complete the puzzle, because they're both puzzle people, but they're also very dominating personalities, and they're each the type to let me take the lead on the puzzle. And if you have two people partnered like that are both trying to take the lead, it's hard to get anything done.
Yeah, I mean, especially if one is working one way and the other person's brain works another way. I mean, CT did ultimately like kind of take a step back and be like, all right, figure it out. And they finished. So again, we kind of knew that. Leroy and Casey go next. They do just fine. And Leroy's open about he is not a good swimmer. And he got under to where he needed to, and you just pull yourself across. They finished. That's when TJ said it's the clearest water in the world or whatever. And
he made a big deal about how great he's like. These two teams did absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was CT and Cam and Leroy and Casey. You guys just killed it. Both did awesome. And so it led us to kind of take bets on which of those two teams do you think won this daily.
Yeah, I mean, because that's how TJ typically frames it.
Right up until he went, but the team who did the best, and by a long shot, made sure it was known that this team in particular blew everybody else out of the water, literally.
And went first.
Yeah. Yeah. The way this was structured, it didn't really...
I knew.
Well, it didn't really matter, like, who went first or last because you didn't get to watch the other teams.
Exactly. You didn't get to see get any advantage from seeing them go first. So it is kind of more of an even playing field, but just being the first people to go, it is kind of like more unnerving. And so the fact that they went in there and just knocked it out,
Kyle and Anissa won. You guys didn't actually say it.
Oh, I mean, anyone listening to this has watched the show at this point.
I thought it was awesome that they were kind of like the underdog team that you would expect to not do super great compared to some of the other teams. And for them to win, quote unquote, by a long shot, I mean, like, good for them. I'm super excited.
Again, that's what, I think with both of you I talked about with the All-Star saying, I was like, Anissa's going to have a leg up on some of these people just because she's continued to do stuff like this.
That's what I said.
And just being like able to like do things like this, a lot of them haven't done it in years. And so
yeah, Jake.
Anissa
won this daily by a long shot.
Hey, look, seriously, congratulations to Anissa. I think that this has been one of her better seasons in a long, long time. Especially considering, she's up there in age. Typically when people age, they deteriorate. I can speak to this because I turned 30 and it's like every part of my body is just falling apart. I'm going to see the chiropractor in the morning. Well wishes and prayers are appreciated. But I think, I don't mind Anissa this season, and I know patron Kari is going to really appreciate that. And what's actually funny about that is because of my Anissa disdain, me and Kari have had a few spats over Anissa over the years, and very friendly, but it's like we become one. We have, like, whatever knot had been untied, we have rekindled it. We have tied the knot again.
Yeah.
We did not get married. She's happily married from what I understand. Got a few kids, and so congratulations to Kari.
Congratulations on your kids.
So anyway, I think this all started initially more than anything. It was, I think you got worked up one time because TJ was acting like Anissa was this like dominating force,
hard hitter,
like statistically, it's not been that. And so that's where I think all this started from. But again, anyway, they won. Like they did great. Good for them. Kyle gets very drunk with power right away.
Says he's going to break up the whole house.
Yeah, and he starts like chanting like not getting this, and
because everybody wanted to go. All the guys wanted him in elimination.
Yeah, and it reminded me of the first Borat movie because I'm not going to get into what he's talking about, but if you've seen Borat, you might know what I'm referring to. But he does that, and
Fessy's nervous.
I didn't make a note about that. I don't.
I just made a note where he had mentioned how he's kind of nervous.
What's he?
That Kyle's in power.
Oh.
He thinks he's going to come after him because like Kyle, for like the first half of the season that we've seen so far, he's like, I'm voting Fessy no matter what.
I think ultimately he should have thrown Fessy in at the end.
I
of this.
agree.
But I think everybody was kind of like tripping out. I don't think anybody knew what Kyle was going to do.
Which is great because he lies to everyone, and now he thought he was at the bottom of like the totem pole, and now he's got the most power of anyone in the house.
He goes up to Corey and asks Corey who he wants to go against, and Corey's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. And because he kind of knew what Kyle was going to say, and then Kyle just kind of starts laughing in his face and yells that it doesn't even matter what he wants, and then screams, "You're getting a monster, Corey."
Okay, so here, the next thing I had was Corey tells him though he does want to, or tells Big T, and like because that's his partner now, like he wants to be the house vote, he wants to go in, and Big T is like, that's not a good move, and I was like, why is that not a good move? And she's like, no, Anissa and Kyle's my friend, they'll vote us in for sure. And I was like, if you're Kyle and Anissa, and you know the other vote is someone that has a skull and is like going to be a big-time competitor in the final, and you can throw in another big-time competitor to take them out, I was like, you do that all day long. And I was like, Big T not wanting to be the house vote makes zero sense.
Yeah, because he was trying to explain that, and she was like, no. You and I need to be Kyle and Anissa's vote. Let the house decide what they want.
She's like, yeah, we'll for sure be thrown in. And I was like, that is not a guarantee.
You can never guarantee anything like
Especially
that.
with Kyle.
Yeah, and what's so goofy about this, I've came at the not Fessy stands, the Big T stands once. Somebody's out there, a lot of people are out there defending that, and it makes zero sense. It does. Zero.
I haven't seen that. If anyone's defending that it doesn't make no sense.
0 cents.
Especially this late in the game. Like, you saw Leroy turn on Darrell, and like you're making moves to guarantee yourself a shot at the money at this point. And Kyle straight up lies to everyone. The fact that Big T is like...
It's even been a big thing in this season.
Yeah.
Where he told the whole house he was voting for one person and then voted for another before they realized that the winning team, it was Fessy and Anissa.
Yeah. Again, like, it made absolutely no sense. Because, again, she doesn't have a skull. Corey doesn't have a skull. The only way they are guaranteed to go in is if the house votes for them. And... again, if I was Kyle and Anissa, I get probably Anissa pushed that conversation more ways than anything. But I would for sure I would have probably done something a little bit different. But Kyle wants to vote Leroy in. I don't blame that strategy if I'm Kyle.
Well, he was telling CT how mad he was at Leroy for throwing them first in that daily.
Yeah. And I get it, like, but I don't blame that thinking at all. And then you got Cam, probably like that night or like the next morning or something. Like, she just pulls Leroy aside and she just starts breaking down, like, scene for scene what's going on. And like, she's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
As far as like Cam is very good strategically.
She's very observant.
Yeah, and like a lot of people cannot like how like sure of herself she is, but you can't say one, she's not a great competitor and she's probably the number one girl in the house that people are scared of. And then two, that she thinks like a few moves ahead. Like, she's not going to be surprised by
everybody else is playing checkers while she's playing chess.
It's I think a few seasons ago, I was talking about Hunter, and like they're all playing baseball, and Hunter's just holding like 2 hot dogs. He's like, I got it, and because he's not that, he doesn't even realize what's going on. And Cam is like she's on top of it, and like everything she said with Leroy makes a lot of sense. And then they decide that they are going to vote for Darrell on the down low, not tell anyone, because they don't want to risk either of them getting the House vote. And if I think also like they were worried about like Leroy getting voted in.
She was really concerned that Leroy was going to get voted in.
And so if you flip to Darrell and then you can convince other... I mean, I really...
If you take the attention away from yourself and kind of push it towards someone else, you're saving yourself. And the more... The person that has the most attention on them, the soonest or closest to actual voting is the person that's most likely to get voted in.
Well, and there's also the possibility that you don't want to give Corey a chance to even earn his skull. And so you may have people that are just burning on randoms, and so Leroy, we've seen it. What was that season? Was it
Dirty
30? Where they're just like, oh, I'm going to vote for Leroy because no one's going to vote. I think it was
that?
Brittany.
Yeah.
She's like, no one's going to vote for
but
Leroy.
She was like the third or fourth person to vote.
It flipped the room. Like, you never know who's going to vote for what. And so them two aligning, deciding, hey, we're going to vote for Darrell, get our partners to vote for Darrell. That's guaranteed 4 votes right there. So if everyone splits otherwise, you still got a good shot of Darrell being the answer. And so, again, it's a smart move just for self-preservation on their end. So we get to the Bubble Club. You know what? Before we get to Bubble Club, we're going to take a Bubble Breaky Club. We're back from Bubble Breaks. Jake, you held your hands up in the air. I can't even see your face right now because you were leaning very far back from your mic.
I was petting my dog.
Oh, okay. That's good. I can't see your dog, so it looked like you were just leaning towards the floor.
Don't y'all just love y'all's dogs?
Yeah. Okay. So... in the Bubble Club, a bunch of people are asking Anissa what she's going to do, and she basically is like, I'm not telling you anything. And I was
Which is smart.
Good for you.
Don't tell anybody what you're doing. Don't give anybody a heads up.
Hey, do you, Anissa?
Yeah. Leroy goes up to Kyle and tries to explain himself. And Kyle basically just asks him to be higher priority than Darrell on Leroy's list.
And he doesn't know at this point Leroy and Cam had already decided they're gonna...
And Leroy agrees, and then I kind of wrote a note like, but does he really, or is he just saying this now until after this elimination?
At this point, it doesn't matter. You tell Kyle whatever you think he wants to hear. You're just trying to get to the final. I did think it was interesting that this is the point where Nany's like, oh, I made a mistake. I should have never left Kyle. And I was like...
She said she's a fool for leaving Kyle for Fessy.
I was like, because he won the daily? I was like,
yeah, she even went so far as to say Fessy is not the kind of person that she wants to be partnered with. Which, what does that even mean?
She doesn't know what she wants.
Well, and which leads me to my idea again that maybe she so regrets it after a short amount of time because she's so bored with him.
That could be, or maybe she's like still in like the grief stages with Josh, and at this point she's in, I don't even know what one.
What is it? Denial?
Maybe where she's just,
or anger.
It could be anger, but she like for no reason she's just like, Fessy's the worst partner. I should.
Maybe it's anger.
It's been like one day since she won her thing and picked him out of everyone. She
chose it.
Yeah, she didn't have to do this, and Kyle would have been thrilled if she didn't change, and.
Well, in the meantime, Leroy tries to give Darrell a heads up that he's likely going to be the house vote, and I just made a note like, well, maybe Darrell shouldn't have laid so low for so long and made a few more friends in the house.
Darrell made a really good move when Leroy brought that up. I appreciate Leroy giving him a heads up, but Darrell says, you know what, you got to do what you got to do. He's like, but I'm leaving my partner. He's like, if I come back, he's like, it's not guaranteed I'm going home if I go down there. He's like, I'm just going to let you know I'm coming for your partner. And I was like, that's a vet move. That's like to instill that fear before the vote.
Yeah, he said, I want Casey or Cam, but I want Casey most.
Yeah, and I was like, that is a good move politically.
He had a good quote in his confessional right after, too, that said, you play that game, I can, too.
I really appreciate Darrell's approach.
Yeah,
just to the game in general. Because I think beyond just like whatever confidence he has, right? But it's just understanding of what the game is, how it's structured. Like this is the challenge, right?
Yeah, it's situated, and like again, you even see it when he goes home later. Like he's not mad. Like he gets it's the game. He gets.
Mm-hmm.
We see so many people take offense to the craziest things.
Yeah.
Reference back to Big T and CT.
Yeah.
Even fans just taking offense to just the most bizarre things. And this guy's just like, oh, man, it's a game. Like, it's the challenge, man. Like and it's so refreshing to see that. It really is.
He realizes it's for $1 million.
Well, even though, like, he's really been really close with Leroy and them this whole time, he knows, like, at the end of the day, I'm going to do whatever I can to get the money. You're going to do the same thing.
Because guess what he wasn't thinking that whole time? Because, like, Leroy's a friend, right? So at no point is Darrell like, oh, all right, well, we ain't friends no more then, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a game.
It's just like, all right, if you're going to do that, well, guess what? If I come back, I'm coming for your partner who I know you don't want to give up.
Yeah.
Which I think even Leroy understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
you know?
like that type of thinking is something that like that's what makes it ironic when Nany's like, oh, Fessy's so good politically. Like, Fessy would have never thought to play that far ahead and like throw that out there. Fessy would just been like, all right, when I come, I'm gonna come back and you'll see.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, and it's like, nah, Darrell's cool the whole time, doesn't get upset, and he's like, you know what? Screw my partner, I'm taking yours.
Yeah,
and which I think is the right move, by the way.
It was a good play, and it definitely spoke to Leroy, got his attention. But speaking of Fessy, after the dome, Nany...
It's called the Bubble Club, and I'm going to have to censor you until... I'm going to go back and edit
You're
it
not
out.
going to do all that editing. I know you're not. Nany tells CT that she sees why Anissa struggled with Fessy so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Because she got kicked in the face, apparently. Maybe something happened that they cut out. But like,
maybe
in the time frame that we've seen them together,
we haven't seen anything.
He hasn't done anything.
We haven't even seen them talk to each other.
Maybe that's the problem. It's like Josh is always at her beck and call, and Fessy's not.
Again, could it be that he's just boring?
Maybe. I mean, Nany's got a history of not
knowing what she wants,
and not going after the people that want to be with her, and then going for the wrong. Like again, like so this is all like classic Nany. It's just what she's always been, and then she gets in her own head about it, and she's like, "Why did I do this to myself?" And it's like, "Well, yeah, you did it to yourself every time." Mm-hmm. And so they go into deliberation. Cory wants to vote, of course. Cam and Leroy. After there's not much of a deliberation, so I kind of skipped out of that. So Cam and Leroy vote for Darrell, obviously. Darrell
and Amber voted for Leroy and Casey instead of Cory and Big T.
That was Darrell's mistake. Darrell and Amber should have voted for Cory because he knew some people, at least Cory and them were going to vote for themselves. And so if you already are thinking Leroy and Cam might be voting for you, you can't
throw it to the other person.
Yeah, you can't split the vote into a third because you're basically at that point burning. And so they should have flipped to voting for Cory even if he didn't want to. So that was his downfall because that basically made their votes not count. And
which is basically putting themselves into elimination.
Yeah, I mean Darrell and Amber, they were the compromised agents, and Kyle, when he sees it, is immediately like
CT versus Darrell.
Yeah, and
he like started chanting it.
I get it. I do like those are the guys you should be the most scared of in a final. But CT is close with Anissa, and Anissa. So like some of these old school people, even like CT's one of them. He said like earlier on, he's like, me and Darrell aren't close or whatever. Like we've known each other forever. But like I think Anissa holds that like we're the old school, we're the OGs if you want. Like she's gonna hold a respect for them that she's not gonna like blindside them and throw them in when they're this because she knows what it's like to get right up to the finals and then get sent home.
Yeah, it's like she feels
it's empathy,
obligated to kind of have their back when she can.
Yeah, and she doesn't need to do that, but like I kind of like that. Yeah,
I get it, and I don't fault her for it.
No, she's shutting down all the crazy stuff.
She vetoed that, and she knows he's drunk with power. He just wants to do something crazy, but more reckless than Devin would. But he tries to talk her into it, and she still shuts it down. And then he throws in, like, what if we do Fessy and Nany?
I think that's a good call.
I think that was the call to go with.
I think that would have been because again, you're not guaranteeing Cory a skull. Which I think that's where Anissa drew the line is that her and Cory are close, and so, but I mean if you think you're going into a final and you've got Darrell already who you're worried about
plus CT.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like you can throw in someone that takes out one of the two. Like it's not guaranteed Fessy's going to win every elimination.
Yeah,
and again, I think Fessy might have been the right call.
You had a chance to really take out a big guy.
Yeah,
here and
really have a TV moment.
Oh, just a little tease. Mm-hmm. I don't think we can really talk about Darrell as a big dog anymore.
I'll get to that in a minute.
We will get to that. I'm just going ahead and teasing that.
So the one thing I would say is, finals are different. Like this elimination was it's straight speed, and again, well, we're not even at the elimination yet, but we'll need to look back on this after the season's over and see who wins, and maybe she should have done something different, who they threw in, but they know Corey and Big T are the house vote. I mean, are not the house vote, sorry. They know Darrell and Amber B are, but I think what it came down to is Aneesa is close with Corey, and
they really do.
She wanted to give him a chance.
Each other.
Yeah, she wanted to at least give him a shot and not like ice him out of being able to go. And so that's who they vote for. They vote for Corey and Big T.
Well, Kyle opened up by saying this game is about revenge, and Leroy's eyes looked like they were going to pop out of his head. He was bugging out.
I'm 99% sure Aneesa was the one that made this final decision in who went in. Because
he let it sit for a minute, and then he said something about friendship being more important, and then votes in Corey and Big T. When we saw what the elimination was, I asked you, Zach, if this was the same elimination that Devin and Wes did.
It's similar.
Which it was really similar.
He said this was the third time they've done this. So was Casey and Teresa's considered the same thing?
I guess so. But Wes and Devin were just a straight. I mean, it was around the poles, right? But it was a straight shot, whereas Darrell and Corey ran down to one end, circled around, and came back to.
It was more of a race, and honestly, there was not as much tension in the rope as what I expected.
Yeah. TJ said this one had 3 times the resistance, plus it was a best of 3 rounds.
Yeah, so you had to win 2 rounds. Because Devin and Wes's was just whoever
just the
won. Which we've seen that before, where it's just you dig in and it takes an hour and a half and someone finally gives out.
All right, so we look. One, I did not realize how fast Corey was.
So, I didn't either.
So here's the thing. Apparently, Corey was a defensive back in college.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. I don't know if he was actually at Michigan or if he was at some smaller college. He's from Michigan.
I've just seen him wear like a lot of Michigan.
Yeah, he's from there. He has a Michigan tattoo on him.
Yeah.
I don't know where he went to college, but according to Alan Aguirre, who's typically right about these type of things, is he was a defensive back, which basically means you're really fast, but don't necessarily have the hands of a wide receiver, but you got the quickness. And
hashtag the quickness.
No.
So here's what I was getting at is this elimination wasn't even close.
It wasn't, and
especially that first round because Corey got through it so quick.
He got through it quick both times. It wasn't close either time. Looking back over this season, the eliminations have really sucked and have been extremely one-sided for the most part. I don't know how production did eliminations in the past where there would be they would do whatever the worst team is in the dailies definitely going in, and then you get the house vote. Now, I don't know if there was enough time in there to structure a final based off of who you knew was going. If a production knew who was going in before they structured the elimination. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this isn't working because between Amber B and Amber M, Corey and Darrell, there's a few more in here where it was just Casey and Teresa, and then there's a few more in there where it was just so one-sided that it's not even fun to watch. And I don't know. I would think you can make these eliminations a little more entertaining if you know who's going in, not necessarily to structure it towards one particular person, but come on, man, you're not going to waste Hall Brawl on Amber B and Amber M. Come on.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. It took me a minute, but
so you
I think the matchups like with Cory and Darrell, I think it could have been more exciting if it were a different elimination. Like if they had Hall Brawl instead of this, I think it would have been more chair gripping.
So I was just doing a little bit of research on Cory. He had a scholarship. Apparently, he's a really good high school athlete. He was a wide receiver and a defensive back, but he had a scholarship to Ohio Dominican University, and then Cory, the football star. This is on his biography on Challenge or MTV's wiki page. He lost his athletic scholarship from Ohio Dominican University due to a pregnancy scare with a girl that he was dating. He later discovered that the story was a complete hoax, which led him to leave the school with a year left to complete.
That sucks.
Yeah. So he was a scholarshiped athlete, and again on Bloodlines, he was still wearing the knee brace and stuff. So Cory should be faster. Also, Cory's 30, and Darrell's 42?
Yeah,
something like that. And
go ahead.
The number one thing that you lose with age is you're quick. Like you can still be very strong and very athletic, but like you're not. It's just like if you put any in shape 30-year-old versus a 42-year-old, more than likely the 30-year-old's going to win.
But listen, all right. So let me run through these eliminations, starting up top.
With Darrell?
No. Just this season, talking about how non-competitive these eliminations have been.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Natalie really did a number on Ashley Mitchell.
It was close, but it wasn't like edge of your seat.
I mean, Kyle beat Joseph pretty good.
Yeah.
And then threw up.
Yeah. Devin and Wes was, I guess fairly tight. Nobody was beating Fessy and Hall Brawl.
No,
he went against Nelson, and Nelson typically does pretty well.
I think on paper that's a good matchup.
But again, Fessy and Hall Brawl,
should win.
Yeah. Tori got destroyed by Anissa in... she couldn't tip over that thing.
Yep.
Yeah, but we didn't expect that. We expected Tori to dominate.
But still, these eliminations haven't been close, is my point. No matter what the expectation was, they haven't been close.
Other than Leroy and Jeyyy, just because it was a freak one.
Yeah.
So again, that's another one, right? Nobody's beaten Leroy in that elimination. Josh and Michi was a disaster.
Yeah.
Cam and Ashley, I don't exactly remember that one. Casey destroyed Teresa. Amber B destroyed Amber M.
Yeah.
Man, you guys really struggle letting me complete a thought, huh?
No, you're lagging.
Man.
Your stuff's lagging, and so it sounds like you're pausing when you're not.
I was not.
So yeah, again,
But you get my point.
I get your point to an extent. The thing is, part of it is casting. If you're casting people that really don't have any business being on the challenge, you're not gonna see much in eliminations.
So who do you loop into that, hand?
The AGT guy, the one that ate the mustard, the little Amber.
I mean, the whole rookie class is sucked.
Yeah, for the most part, the all the rookies, for the most part, not everybody, but also you can't. I mean, production can only do so much when it comes to eliminations before it turns into a rigging hoax. You can't really.
That's a weird phrase.
You can't really just control outcomes. You can only do so much.
I'm not suggesting controlling an outcome. I'm suggesting creating. You've got your set eliminations, right? You go into a season with you're going to do such and such eliminations, right?
Yeah.
But selecting set elimination based off the individuals going in because it's going to be a great matchup.
Here's the thing. The only reason I'd even cut you off is they don't know who's going in because of the couple in charge. They could go in, or they could send some random couple
again,
in.
like they don't make their final decision until everybody's there.
But that was exactly my point. Is like I don't think that whole structure voting wise works.
I agree.
I think
it
makes for bad eliminations. I think that's why we've seen great eliminations when you knew the worst team in the daily was going in, and you got the house vote. I don't know, 24, 48 hours before the actual elimination.
I do agree with. I do agree with that.
Then if you know who's going in with that much amount of time, as production, you can say, all right, this elimination would be great with these two, right? Yeah. It's like, look, a lot of people aren't beating CT in much anything, but CT and Leroy and free agents busting through that drywall,
yeah,
on paper, like that's because you take CT's ability to put his hands on someone out of the equation, so now you've almost created an equal playing field, right? So that's what I'm saying is like, if you know ahead of time, whether it's by 24 or 48 hours, you can say, all right, we can rig this elimination for these two. Because like I said, no way you're putting Amber B, you're wasting one of the greatest eliminations of all time in Hallbro on Amber B and Amber M. There's no way.
Yeah, so yes. I agree with that. I didn't know exactly what you were meaning at first, but I think the problem is you have so many twists in this season with the secret vote, and then only the power couple gets to know who's voted what, and then they get to decide which two. On paper, you're like, oh, that's interesting. Like, that's cool that they get to do that.
Because you don't get to mentally prepare.
Well, but it does go back to Jake's point. From a production standpoint, you can't say, oh, wow, like, we got these two heavy hitters coming up. We should really, like, give them a show. And it's not saying rigging it one way or the other. Like, you're just saying, like, oh, let's put the best elimination forward because at the end of the day, this is for entertainment, right?
Yeah.
This isn't the Super Bowl, and so like I do agree with that. The format is flawed.
Yes, my point with the rigging was you can't see this person's going against this person. We need to change the elimination that we're doing and do this.
And that's not what I was suggesting.
Like thinking that it would be a better show because then, you get people saying, oh, well, clearly this other person had a way bigger advantage with this new elimination since they changed it. So they're just catering it to the other person.
That type of stuff can never be out there. Like, you can't be like, hey, we changed the elimination. Like, that's got to be like a non-disclosure. Like, no one on the cast can talk about that.
So if anything, they need to just and everybody needs to know who the people going in are.
And I don't even have a problem with a secret vote.
As long as it's like a day before or something.
But even if you had like the power couple and you had their deliberation and you're like, all right, now you guys got 10 minutes to tell us who your vote is, and no one else in the house is going to know until you get out there. But at that point, though, you'd have people that wouldn't know if they need to throw themselves in. Again, I think more than anything, the format has flaws in it.
Yeah, and what it would require you to get rid of is the gold skull twist.
Which is fine. I think we all are on the same page on that.
Yeah, I'm kind of. It was a cool little twist at first, but I don't really, because I think there was an art to watching people stay out of elimination.
Yeah, and
right?
It did. I don't. So let's say this from a watchability standpoint. I like that they tried something different and they've been doing it, but it's kind of ran its course for the time being. Let's change it back to something or do something completely different.
Put it back on the shelf. Bring it out in a handful of seasons.
Yeah, make it a surprise. Be like, oh, we haven't done this in 4 seasons. Guess what? You got to earn your way into the final.
Yeah.
So again, this elimination though, like first round, not even close. Corey destroyed. Second round, closer. But Corey was able to get that dive, and he just got his finger right on the buzzer, and I mean, it's over.
It was enough that Darrell had to, after the first round, ask Corey to slow down.
I mean, I think at that point, Darrell kind of knew he was like, it's over. It's not going to work out.
I did have a question. Why is Amber crying? She wasn't even crying to Darrell. She was talking to Big T and crying.
Yeah, she's weird.
I didn't see her talking to Darrell. Until he hugged her goodbye or something. That was just weird. That was weird to me. it was also funny to see the montage of partners that were sent home by Cory.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely had a reputation about him, and he's got his skull now. You knew he was going to change partners.
It's the first elimination he's finally been able to get to. He has the gold skull. So to me, the curse is broken. I think he's fine now. And he stole. Who did he steal?
Well,
Cam.
Okay, don't hold on. Anyway, it was sad to see Darrell go because I do think he at the last half of the season was much better for him than the first half.
Yes.
I think he has run his course as a top-tier competitor. Because for a guy who made and won the final in his first 4 seasons...
It's a different show.
Well, it is a different show, but he's done 5 seasons since and has not made a final on one and has gotten eliminated by the likes of Tony, Cory, I believe CT eliminated him. And
the Tony one is like that's a toss up.
Fluke.
Yeah,
I get it, but it's just I don't know, man.
Older.
Yeah, but so are CT and Bananas and those guys too.
Bananas is famously not good at eliminations, though. Like statistically, compared to a lot of these big time. For a guy who's won 7 seasons. Like, he's won a lot of them by staying out of eliminations as much as possible.
Right.
Which, again, it's a fine strategy if that's what the format of the game is. I'm not prepared to say Darrell is done. I will say he is more suited for the all-star thing. And I think we all said he's probably a top 2 guy.
He probably has one of the best shots at winning that.
The one thing with him is he hasn't done 5 seasons consistently. Like, he comes in and then he's gone for like 3 years and he comes back and it's like, I get why he's that way, but for him to like really have a shot, it's almost like he needs to do a couple back to back
to acclimate.
Yeah, because it's different. I mean, he's in incredible shape still, but it's not the same going against a 30-year-old when you're 42 or whatever. Again, Darrell to me is one of my favorite people that's ever been on the show, and so I am sad to see him go. But Cory did end up picking Cam, which
smart move.
Why not? He's in power. He got a skull.
So he stole Cam from CT. Forgot that they were partners for a minute, and that leaves CT without a partner. So he's got to choose either Big T or Big Amber, and so he proposes to Big T being partners again, but he lets her make the decision. And she agrees, and he said, quote, "It's a no-brainer for me."
This is a PR move. It is 100%.
You think? Because when Nani was griping to CT,
Zach.
when Nani was griping to CT about how awful of a partner Fessy was, he started praising CT. He's like, or praising Big T. He was like, Big T, you didn't have to tell her to compete. She got along with everybody. She was going to give it her best effort. You don't have to stroke her ego or anything. She knows what she's capable of. She knows her limits. And like he said a couple times that he kind of misses having her as a partner.
It's a PR move. I'm gonna stick by that.
I disagree with you there. God, you don't hear that often on here, do you?
That's fine. That's fine.
Jake, what happened?
Here's the thing. I'm not saying Amber is like, oh, you pick Amber, whatever. But CT at this point, he's like, he knows that he blew things up and how he did it the first time around. I don't. If it was anyone, if it was Gabby and Big T left, it does, unless it's someone that is a runaway like Cam or Casey. He was going to pick Big T just to get his namesake back right because, like we said, a lot of people were mad about what was going on.
I disagree with that.
So you think Big T is 100 like the far and away better pick
over Amber?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I do too. But listen. At the very beginning of this episode, Darrell started expressing doubts in Amber now that she's got her gold skull. He doesn't think she has been trying very hard, doesn't think she has a lot of drive. And then they get into the daily. She disqualifies immediately. And
It's marginal.
And then at the Dome, he said, "I'm leaving her for sure. I'm not going to be partners with her anymore." He said in a confessional he didn't want to be partners with her anymore.
Yeah, but he also wouldn't be partners with Big T either.
Again, do you want to be partners with someone who's actually going to put in an effort and try, or do you want to be partners with someone who's trying to coast?
I don't think
I don't want to be partners with somebody that doesn't have any drive. And so when he chose Big T over Amber, my thoughts were maybe he started seeing what Darrell sees.
Again, to me, it's marginal. They're the same type of competitor. You're going to just pick Big T at that point.
I think he did find something that worked well with her. They did win 2 dailies together, and one she had nothing to do with, which people have to understand that. 2, she did contribute to the second win big time, and so and I think you saw with a couple of different teams in the daily on this episode that like there is something to be said for a team with 2 strong heads where it just may not work as well as a team that has one clear voice to lead the charge. And I think he missed that. I do not think this was a PR thing at all. I think if you're looking at the context of Amber B and Big T, I think it was a no-brainer for CT.
I agree with that, but from the standpoint that they're not like a clear-cut one is like way better than the other, and so it's like at this point, yeah, you're going to pick Big T if you're CT, and you've also done what you did 2 weeks ago.
But he knows for a fact he can work well with Big T because he want to take the chance on Amber, and their personalities not mesh well like he and Cam.
So that's my thing is I think he made that decision because he's seen that it has worked. And also, multiple people have called Amber B one of the fakest people in the house.
One of those is Kyle, who is also one of the.
But
fakest
also
people.
Gabby and Amber M.
I ain't even in the house, and I think she's a weirdo. So
that's fine. That's fine. Like one, Gabby and Amber M don't really count because
they had beef, whatever. But again, he was right. It's multiple people,
and that's fine. And like I'm not saying that Amber B is the runaway winner or anything like that. But if you're CT at this point, even if you think Amber B is the better competitor, you're not going to pick her because you're going to say, "Oh, I'm going to pick Big T just to make things right," and just go from there.
I don't think it was a make right move.
I don't think Amber's the better competitor because she's not trying.
Okay, that's not what I was saying.
To me, it's not even about who's better. I think it's purely CT has seen this work with Big T. And that's what his decision boiled down to. Because this late in the game, if it's your choice, why are you going to partner yourself with someone that you haven't worked with at all?
No, I agree with that. It's just he just at this point it's like choosing the best of 2 very not good situations. And
I don't disagree with you on that.
Because you don't want to run a final with either of them. Like if you're being honest, and CT like. The only way he's going to get to do that, like change, is if I guess he'd have to go into another elimination, right? Or Big T would have to go into an elimination. That's my other thing is she doesn't have a skull, and so we don't know if both players have to have skulls to go into the final, or what's going to happen with that because she doesn't have one right now.
Big T's at this point. Big T is the only person in the house without a skull, right?
Yeah.
Because Corey was the only outlier aside from her, and he got his.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know. And then TJ, after this, announces that no one is in the final yet, which I thought that you were. If you
factually, he's right.
I know, but the way he said it, I thought that, your ticket to the final is stamped if you have a gold skull.
He said you can't run my final unless you have whatever, but he didn't say that's the only prerequisite. So that would be the thing, is like he may say, like, oh, yeah, you did this, but now we're going to have
red flags.
This like purge where you have to compete, and then we take the top 3 out of the 5 from each side. We don't know.
Yeah, that's been my guess for a while, is that there's some sort of purge coming involving all the gold skulls.
Do you think it's still a partners final, or do you think it's an individual final?
I think it'll be individual.
I do too. And so, again, like, that's why with the Big T thing, again, I think it's academic at this point. It's just he showed himself in a way that a lot of people had problems with, and so I think that's why. Even if you think she is the worst of the competitors, like, you're going to pick her if you're CT. So Amber B's the rogue agent. We don't know what that means going forward. I'm assuming next week's elimination is going to be a female elimination because we have a rogue agent female, and
a Big T without a skull.
But that doesn't mean Big T's going to necessarily go in. I mean, that's the thing. You just don't know. And so, yes, TJ leaves it with that, and then that's basically this episode. We do get a preview of next week. I'd forgotten from the trailer, you had like a dress-up disco party thing where CT and Fessy get into it. So that's next week, it looks like. And so I'm excited about that. So for the superlatives for this episode, who smashed some heads?
Aneesa and Kyle with their daily win.
I'm pointing at Jake for those listening.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Corey. Because coming from a guy who was nicknamed the Quick in elementary school, I got to respect the speed. Shout out to Corey, the Quick.
I'm going to give it to just Kyle because of how drunk with power he got. And he just kind of was... He wanted to smash everyone's head, and Aneesa reined him back in.
Yeah.
And so I'll give it to I almost get to he got his head smashed too. So who's yours for who got their head smashed?
Nani when she got kicked in the face by Fessy.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
that's
allegedly.
That's a good one.
But if she did, she literally got her head smashed.
Yeah. Pointing at Jake again.
Amber B, because she I don't know, man. What a weird way to react to Darrell leaving. She acts as if she is a total stranger in this house.
Which arguably she's in the biggest alliance out of anyone left.
Yeah. She said she made a comment about like not knowing anyone she's going to have to work with, and I'm like, but you have the biggest alliance.
Yeah.
So what?
And you've lived in this house with all these people for how long?
Yeah. I didn't understand that. Because again, even no matter who her partner is, she's still in that Big Brother alliance.
Yeah.
Which is also tied in with Leroy and by extension Cam, even though she's not partnered with any of them now. So
what? You're not working with Kyle and Aneesa, so that makes you a total stranger in this house?
Yeah, I didn't get that. For me, for who got their head smashed, I mean, I think you got to give it to Darrell. I mean, he just he looked like this wasn't. It's been too many years.
He looked like The Undertaker, wrestling reference here, and some of his later matches before he got his hip worked on. I am referencing the Goldberg match, the tag team match with him and Kane against D-Generation X. That's what he looked like. Didn't even look like he belonged anymore.
Yeah, and I do think, ideally you could kind of format eliminations to give each player, a fair shot, but for what it was, like it wasn't close. So that's why I gave it to him. For songs of the week,
my song of the week is "Fear" by the K-pop boy band 17. It's a really good song, really catchy, got a really good bridge.
Zach, these guys were actually referenced a few weeks ago, and I said I would bring them back up again at some point.
Don't remember.
This actually used to be your ringtone for me. We're going Thrice, Open Water.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. Open Water by Thrice. That whole album collection and series of albums is...
Yeah, so they did the Alchemy Index, Volume 1 and 2, which is Fire and Water, and then they did Volume 3 and 4 together, which was Air and Dirt. And
Earth.
Earth. And the Water one has the song Open Water on it, which is it's a great song. All four of those albums are great in their own way.
Yeah.
They released them like two
and you can clearly tell which set of songs apply to which element.
Yeah, even if you just listen to them on random.
Yeah.
It was an interesting concept. For me, I'm keeping Japanese. I'm going with the band called Bandmade, _MAID.
Didn't you use them?
I have not used them yet.
All right, Han, you don't get to do that, Han, with all your Avett Brothers suggestions.
No, I thought we had a discussion about them.
I mean, you've watched
recently.
YouTube videos with me.
No, but
with
we
them.
had a discussion about them recently. Like, I think on the podcast. Maybe it was Patreon?
No, I showed Jake the video whenever he came over for that one recording. But I'm picking them. I'm picking the song On Set. There's no lyrics to it or anything, even though they do have lyrics. But they're just a bunch of Japanese girls who used to work in like maid cafes and decided to just wear those outfits and make music. But they're really good musicians, and
they're incredible musicians.
Their drummer especially is really good. So the song is called On Set. So that's my pick. So we're gonna take a quick break and come back with the fantasy stuff. All right, we are back. Jake, are you ready to take it away?
Yeah, and before this segment gets started, your fantasy segment of the week, this segment is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Eat fresh.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting started off hot and heavy here. Winner, chicken dinner for Nani. 10 points for Nani. She got the chicken dinner. Kyle hates everyone. -5 to Kyle because that can't be a good thing. But Nani's proud of herself. 5 points. 5 points to Nani. We applaud proudness.
Sure.
Anissa didn't say I love you back to Fessy. Total rejection towards Fessy. -5 to Fessy.
Agreed.
Because Anissa doesn't love him back. Fessy does, but yeah, Fessy doesn't want to be attached to Anissa's hip. -5 because of Anissa's hip.
-5 to Fessy?
To Anissa.
Okay, you didn't say.
Let's see. Let's go. I make a lot of these fantasy points, and as I'm going through, I recognize some, and I'm just like, that doesn't require fantasy points.
It's better to have too many than not enough.
But 5 points to Kyle because he is an upgrade from Fessy in the funny department. But Kyle doesn't have any friends. -5. That's according to Kyle.
That sounds like a Disney Channel show.
Yeah. But Anissa does have friends. 5 points to Anissa. Let's see. 10 points to Darrell and Amber B for being the only original team left. Leroy's worried. -5. He also, you know what? 5 points to him because he wants people to stop talking to him. As a guy who enjoys his space, yeah. I did. Yeah. Stop talking to people, you guys. Anissa is Corey's #1 girl. 5 points to Anissa. Let's see. Kyle treadmill sessions. I thought it was a solid 10. Solid 10 for the treadmill sessions.
Okay.
Kyle thought the daily is what death looks like. -5. Big T likes swimming between plates. 5 points. Amber B cannot say tectonic. -5 to Amber B.
Oh, yeah.
Anissa wants it, and she's not going to cry. 5 points to Anissa.
She did cry, though.
She did cry.
-5. For actually crying.
Kyle figured out
Jake's the game master.
What?
I don't give him.
I am the game master.
-5
Kyle
for her
figured
crying.
out. That's not on my board. Kyle figured out decode. 5 points to Kyle. And Anissa did not die. 5 points to her. Let's see. First puzzle ever completed for Kyle. 5 points. Let's see. Big T is still bitter about the CT issue. -5 to Big T.
We didn't even talk about all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think this requires a -15. Corey's friends tried to drown him. That's a -15, man.
Can it not be a -10?
No.
It's not his fault.
Han, he won an elimination tonight, all right? He's
You're
going to
gonna
get you
you're gonna
plenty
get
of
15.
points.
Yeah, but I've got a lot of negatives, too.
Let's see. So I started out giving -10 for disqualifications with Big T and Corey, but with how many disqualifications do we want to continue that trend, or do you just want to disregard the disqualifications?
It was a lot.
It's your call. I mean,
we'll disregard them because there were more than what I initially thought there would be on the front end.
Yeah.
Let's see. But 10 points to Big T because she was super understanding of Corey's issue with going underwater.
Yeah.
I think Amber B died for a short period of time. She just literally just floated
Stop
to the
moving.
top. Just didn't move. So -10. I don't know what happened to her.
Yes,
-10.
-10.
She's only saying that because she got -15.
Let's see. Darrell is suspicious of Amber B. I like it. 5 points.
Okay.
Because you don't like Amber B.
Also,
Hey, but Fessy is a Florida boy. Is that a +5 or a -5?
that's a -5.
What?
Okay.
That's negative.
Hey, but 5 points to Fessy for the Sweet Chin music. -5 to 90, -10 to 90 for receiving the Sweet Chin music, because that is a big time hit physically. I can attest. I'm throwing out Sweet Chin music all the time. Let's see. CT and Cam are as cold as ice. 5 points to CT and Cam. Cam puts her fears to the back and her focuses to the front. 5 points. I like how you gave that a head nod of solidarity.
Well, I'm just letting you know, I got it.
Well, I mean, you nodded as if that's something you do. You put your fears to the back and your focus to the front.
Maybe subconsciously I do.
Okay.
And so that's why I was like, yeah, I get it.
Dancing Cam and CT, 5 points. 5 points to CT and Cam for their little dance. And Leroy's a little tadpole, 5 points. Casey let her hair down again, 5 points. It's probably the only point she's getting this episode.
I don't remember seeing it either.
I noticed it every time.
Last time.
She's always got it pulled back in that bun. Hey, but you know what? Let's give everybody an additional 5 points because they all swam in the clearest water in the world. 5 points to everybody.
You're going to have to give me a second.
All right, take your time, Zach. We're not in a rush here. We've only been here for about an hour and a half.
It's no big time rush.
Yeah.
You can't.
All right, you ready?
No.
He's about halfway down.
Yeah.
There's an ambulance. I don't know if that picks up on these mics. It's pretty loud.
Mm-hmm.
Almost done.
Can you hear it, Jake?
I cannot.
All right, you can go.
CT does not like it when TJ drags things out. -5 to CT. But 25 to Anissa and Kyle for the win. An additional 5 because they supposedly dominated. Here we go. Here's a run for Anissa. 5 points to Anissa because she's overwhelmed with joy. 5 points for Anissa running. Like church kind of running. She started running like she was in church.
I didn't see that.
She started twerking too. That's another 5 points.
Okay.
And she also acted as if she pulled out a machine gun and went and started machine gunning.
What
5
show
points.
were you watching?
I didn't
see
It was when
this.
it was when TJ dismissed him. Told him to go back to the house. She did all 3 of those things in about a 10-second span.
I must have been making a note or something.
Yeah, it happened. Kyle is ready to break up the house, 5 points. And he gave a really good Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson impression. Right?
Did he?
It doesn't matter. That's a thing he did in the WWE. He'd ask. So you do like this. Roll with me, Zach. What's your name, son?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
I jumped the gun.
Oh, yeah.
10 points. 10 points to Kyle. Corey wanted Kyle, and he can't have him. -5 to Corey. Kyle did The Rock again at some point. 5 more points. Anissa ain't doing no more work. 5 points to Anissa. And Darrell ain't about the games. 5 points to Darrell. Everybody misses Big T and Kyle. 10 points to Big T and to Kyle. Darrell got a banana. 5 points.
I feel like you're reaching for that one.
Amber B doesn't like this feeling, though. -5.
The banana feeling?
Not just I don't know. She just didn't like the feeling. Darrell's got the right to do whatever he wants. 5 points to Darrell. Let's see. CT is in the bubble of safety. 5 points. Let's see. -10 to Darrell and Amber B because they were compromised. Per Kyle, CT has a stupid face. -5 to CT.
I don't remember him saying that, but
also, Anissa told Kyle to shut up. That's a -5 to Kyle. 5 points to Anissa also for telling Kyle to shut up.
He's trying to make up for that -25. He's
what's that?
She's saying you're conspiring against us for yourself.
Are you guys really concerned about me?
No.
Because okay, then let me do what I want to do. Because
although we haven't determined what the final and all that's going to mean as far as points go.
Again, I should be the last person you should be concerned about. Let's see. Darrell has kids at home watching. 5 points. And Corey's also doing it for his kids. 5 points. We get to see CT's announcer skills. Those were solid. 5 points. Corey's really fast. That's a 10-pointer, man, for how fast he was.
5 for each round.
I thought Darrell's "Hey man, slow down a little, calm down" quote was solid. I think that's a 10-pointer. If I laugh, y'all laughed at it. Be honest, you laughed at that.
I did not laugh at it.
We have given 10 points to laughable quotes. Y'all are really going to shortchange me, and I am 5,000 points behind the both of you.
I put 10, but I did not laugh at that.
Y'all are some stingy.
He put 10, but I do think that was a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, too bad, Han. Darrell's moving like honey. -5, because that's really slow. But 5 points to Leroy for the quote. Corey wins, 50 points. Darrell loses, -25. Another 10 points to Corey because the curse is broken. I guess they should give that to Big T. Yeah, that should go to Big T.
Because she
10 points to Big T because the curse is broken. Yeah, because all the girls have went home that are on Corey's team. Are you confused by that, Han?
No, because
she's got a perplexed look on her face.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how you put that on Big T.
Because she was his partner and she didn't go home.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I get your reasoning.
What do you mean you guess? Yes. All the girls who have been Corey's partner.
I know all about it.
Like,
I watched
immediately.
the montage. Let's go.
So she didn't go home. That's the curse is broken.
I gave it to her.
Hold on. So you can't call out my points, and then when I try to explain it, tell me to move on.
No, you asked me if I got it, and I said, yeah, I guess.
Y'all are goofy.
I'm trying to end the podcast.
Both of you. Well, you said something about it. Okay, here we go.
I didn't say anything about it.
Okay. -5 more to Darrell because he was extremely slow. Extremely slow. Why is Amber B crying? -5. But you know what? 10 points to Darrell because TJ thinks he is a consummate professional and a bad A.
He is he literally
FTK for the kids.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Darrell, and Darrell loves everybody. 5 more points to Darrell. Kyle is glad to see the back of Darrell's head. 5 points to Kyle. Let's see. Cam stolen from CT. -5 to CT. But 10 points to Big T and CT for the reunion. They missed each other. 5 points to each of them. And -5 to Amber B for the whole being afraid of working with another alliance and another person. But
she's in the same alliance.
Yeah, it doesn't change the alliances.
-5s. And those are your fantasy points for the week. That is it. That is your fantasy segment for the week. Brought to you by none other than Chick-fil-A.
Eat
fresh.
All right, so we are going to take a break while I add these up, and we'll be back in just a second.
And we're back again. The segment was brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Eat
fresh.
I almost did say Subway that time. It's getting to me a little bit. So, interesting week for sure. I didn't have a lot of people like on the. None of my people like won the daily or an elimination or anything. You went hard against Amber B. Kyle got a ton of points, and so then Anissa got a ton of points. Anissa was the high scorer for the week.
Hey, shout out.
Yeah,
So-
no surprise there.
So Hannah ended up
Okay.
with 0 from Fessy, 75 from Kyle, 50 from Corey, 20 from Cam, and 10 from Nani, I believe.
I think that's the first.
Oh, wait, hold on. No.
Yeah, that's right. The 10
Yeah,
and the
10 from
negative
Nani.
10
10 from
cancel
Nani.
each other, so 5 and 5 is 10. I think those are the first positive points I've gotten from Nani.
So she ended up with 155 for the week.
It's a solid week, Han.
Yeah, so for
After
me,
2 not solid weeks.
CT gave me 25, Leroy gave me 15, Amber B gave me negative 25. The Big T rounded it out with some 50s, with a 50 because of all the late scoring at the end. I only had 65 for the week, though. So, Jake, you ended up with 20. You somehow came out on the positive from Darrell, 20. And then Casey gave you 10, and then Anissa gave you 80. So you had 110 for the week.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, so that score basically has Jake still in third place at 445.
Okay.
I am now in second place with 735, and Hannah took the lead with 755.
Back in my rightful place.
Well, let's be very clear. I'm in real serious trouble. I have no more guys left on my
Casey and
team.
Anissa.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, so I'm banking on one of my girls winning the final. So
Yeah,
You might actually have a shot with Casey.
but she's not going to get you any other points along the
Yeah.
way.
No.
yeah.
Again, I'm okay. Like I feel good about CT and Leroy having a decent chance. Big T and Amber B, they're going to wipe each other out as far as his points going forward. Hannah's got Fessy, Kyle, Corey, Cam, and Nani left. I mean, she's got probably the best chance statistically because she has the most players.
But I've also got a pretty good team of heavy hitters.
Yeah, I mean, her top 4 picks are still in the game. I got 2 of my top 3, and then Jake, his 7th, and then his 10th pick are all that's left.
Yeah.
So not looking too great for you. But like we said at the top of the show, patreon.com/MashNets podcast, it does have the All-Stars breakdown that Jake and I did, but it is free, so even if you're not currently a patron, you can listen to that. But we would encourage you to come along for the ride with our Patreon. We try to do a lot of stuff on there, exclusive stuff. So I think I said at the beginning of the show we have a big backlog of about a year and a half or so, or a year plus of just backlogged Patreon content that's exclusive to there. And so other than that, we will be back with you next week for episode 15 of Double Agents. And why are you okay? You can't hold your hand up to make a point, and then when I stop talking, you just sit there and don't say anything.
I was waiting for you to finish.
I stopped talking and I looked at you, and you still didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Are you done?
No, because you held your hand up because you wanted to talk.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
You clearly did.
I was just going to say, on top of Patreon, we also have merch. Buy merch. Take pictures, selfies with your merch. Tag us on social media. We will share it with your permission. We really like to see it. Email us. We love emails. They're so much fun. And
You don't check the email.
no, but I like when you read them to me. Also, last but not least, big, giant thank you to Chick-fil-A for sponsoring this podcast. Be sure to check out your Chick-fil-A app next time you go in. Use coupon code SHP for a free meal.
Yeah, get some grilled chicken nuggets.
Jake, just hit the show.
Have a good night, everyone.